I wanted to try and capture a little bit of my day today, and the day is not finished. We haven't even done the show yet. Without me having a camera crew follow me, I can't really capture all the conversations I've had with people and decisions I've had to make, because that's creepy if I was just constantly just filming while I'm talking to people and trying to work. I just got you going. So I'm not a morning person, but when it comes to work, I have a whole different mode. I'm always clean. Every venue I go to. Oh gosh, not that they're not clean. I like to clean. So far this morning, we have come, we've unloaded. Now we had to get here before 10 because it's a venue on a pedestrianised area, which means we couldn't move the vehicle into the loading bay after 10. We would have been stuck. I'm about to allocate the dressing room so they can all have their key cards. We also do a tour of the venue, so I have to go and see where all the dressing rooms are, where the wardrobe room. There's usually washing machines and dryers in a venue like this. So I've done the allocation. Basically, this can be done beforehand. I've done it beforehand for another venue we're going to next week, but this one we're just doing it here, and it's actually better in ways because I've seen the spaces. I can kind of go, yeah, that one would be nice for them and that one would be nice for the others. For this show, I have 13 people who are on stage at one time, and then the crew on top of that who I manage. I haven't mentioned, I'm tour managing this show. I've got 2 nights here in Liverpool. WhatsApp web. It helps me so much when I'm on these things.
Almost. Testing the lines. Say hey.
I thought I'd show you the office really quickly. This one is massive. We never usually have like 3 desks. We've been in like tiny little cupboards before. So it's the first day of tour, so we're setting out all the passes, all the AAAs. I'm not going to show you them because that's another thing. If you get AAA, don't be posting pictures of it on social media. That's a big tip if you're ever on a tour or get a pass. It's a security issue. So I'm not going to show you the passes, but we put everyone's names on them. I've just asked Monique to do that to help me with sorting that out for when the band arrive. And then this is my setup for today. It's a bit messy because we're still just getting the passes out, but I always have a Bluetooth keyboard. This is just charging, but it's a Bluetooth mouse. I have this because it folds down. I like how small it folds. So I like to set this up. This is such a messy desk. These will all be gone in a second. Let's move it over there. Let's have a look at this flight case. Oh, before we do that, I have this. This is like a Pelly, but it's not a Pelly. If you don't know what a Pelly is, I'll put a picture of it up. Some friends recommended this, and I like it. So I carry my stuff in there, and eventually I'm gonna get my own printer and things, and it will go in there. The theatre company that I'm working for and being tour manager for right now, they gave this to me to use. We've got all sorts of things, stationery, everything. In the bottom there is a printer and a laminator because we do loads of signage, which we're about to do and put up. So we do direction signage and obviously labeling all the rooms so people know which one's the production office, which one it is, the different dressing rooms. And that's it. They're like, if you show the room, show the room, show the room. That's what they've given us, and we got a fridge. Oh, I also have this thing because if you have a MacBook with these just 2 little connections, you're gonna need a connector to connect up all sorts of things. I should have said this before. You imagine we're going to the venues for the first time on the day usually, and the band are just rocking up. They're coming off the bus, whatever transport we give them, and they're just like, where is everything? So we do signage to make that really clear, to make it as easy as possible for them. When they're here for a little bit, they know where they're going. I'm used to just jumping into venues and for the first time going, okay, that's the stage, that's this, that's that. Just sign, post everything, okay? And that's why we have all of these. And Monique's about to put them up for me while I do some set lists. We changed the set list a little bit, so I need to get them printed. My band are about to arrive. They're about to arrive, but they're gonna park across a pedestrianised square. So we're gonna go out with a flight case so they can put stuff in it and we can wheel it back across the square. What a mission. My bus was far. This venue is really difficult to get to between 10 and 6 because it's on a square in town. Band come later in the day because they don't need to be here early with the crew. I gave the driver with the band, for the band, the location that they need to go to that's nearest where they can get to, but the sat nav was taking them all over the place. There's one-way systems, there's roadworks galore in Liverpool right now. I had a technician from this venue come with me that knows Liverpool. Literally walk through town to go find them.
You know what? There's no markings on that bus. That looks a lot like the bus that turned out.
I know. Oh my word.
You know what? You must be there.
We went and found the bus. We had the bus come round because he knew the way around to go, and we did it. I need to go eat. I definitely need to go eat. This is a me problem. I don't eat until it's like 3 now. I always feel like every time I'm gonna stop and eat, someone's gonna call me to go do something. So I don't not eat because of that. I'm just always preoccupied, and then I realized ages after that I haven't eaten. So I think I'm gonna try and eat something, but sound check is about to happen. So let me explain a little bit about what I do, because it's kind of, I wanted to try and capture a little bit of my day today, and the day is not finished. We haven't even done the show yet. And my day, I do a lot of liaising with the venue, liaising with people in the band and the crew. Everyone's coming in and out of the office, going, where's Danny, calling me if they've got issues and whatever. And my job is to help with the planning. We have other people who plan, so we have an amazing lady who works, she's the administrator. She does all the booking of the shows, initial liaising, and then things get handed over to me to do work and send the venue stuff so they know what we're bringing, what's going on, how many people. I can contact them and say, oh, we need the XYZ. And then the director of the show is very involved as well, but also has to have an eye on obviously the show and what's going on with that. I look after the band and crew. It's a massive part of my job. Big part of my job is making sure they know what's happening and sending them that information. So I don't have an example with me here because I've sent them it digitally, but I do day sheets that tell them, okay, what's their call time, where they need to be, what's the schedule for the day. They know that in advance, and then we put up a few around the venue so they can just glance at that wherever they are. But sometimes I have to go out on stage and kind of have some say on what's going on technically, but I don't get too involved in that because that's what you have your crew there for, and it's their expertise. I don't walk over what they're doing, but if I think there's going to be an issue with something, I'll speak to my sound engineer or the lighting tech and just say, hey, what do you think about this? What are we going to do about that? It's a lot of communicating, administration, liaising with people. There's different people in the venue that you have to deal with. There's the techs, there's management, there's front of house team who want to know what's happening with your merch and this and the other. You've probably heard me mention Monique a couple of times. Monique assists me with all kinds of things, signage, printing things. The crews do a lot of work. My crew were up at 4, probably before 4 actually, to travel. They got here this morning. They also had issues with the roadworks around Liverpool. They got here, they've loaded in, they've done what they need to do. And also the local crew, fantastic. We've actually had fantastic local crew at every show that we've done. Everywhere we go, we have a great time. And I think it's because we give them food, so they like us even more. We mainly do theatres for this tour. Capacity is like 300 to 1,200 was one of our biggest. I should mention how this works. So I'm not an employee of the company, the theatre company. I was recommended for this role. My name was put forward. Always grateful for that kind of thing. And the director spoke to me, and that's how I got the job. So I invoice for every day that I work. I'm responsible, you know, for my tax and all that kind of thing when it comes around to self-assessment time. I have done freelance jobs before that I've been for a block of time where I have been put on payroll. That's more unusual though. Usually invoice, and I kind of prefer that because it gets messy when you're invoicing for some stuff and then having some stuff on pay. We got 15 minutes. Just 15 to huddle. We go on as soon as we get clearance from the venue. Clearance is the venue telling us that the bars are clear, people are seated, and then they give us the okay to start. This happens at all the theatres, at least the theatres we've been to. It can be a little bit frustrating at times because we are always ready and just waiting for that okay. But once we get on stage and the show starts, we have a great time. The audience have a great time too. I tend to go out into the crowd and also side of stage just to see what's happening and get a feel for the show. Because we had another show the next day, we didn't have to pack down that night. So I went to the hotel, showered, and went to sleep. The next day, we took some time to go and have a look around Liverpool in the morning. My family had been to the show the night before, so it was nice to spend some time with them doing that before we had to go back to the venue. Good morning, afternoon now. So we're trying to figure out how to use, and these buttons don't make sense yet. What are you thinking, Money?
It's not very helpful, I don't know.
Toweling up. So we've not got towels, we've got shirts. So we're gonna go with B or E. I think we want to pick a time, you know, like pick the time.
Yeah, but
If you've never worked in a venue or worked in this industry, you may not be aware that venues like this take commission when you sell merch. So, you know, t-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing, CDs. We do programs fitting for the theatre. So they take commission, and sometimes if you sell it yourself, we went to a couple of venues last tour, well, if you sell it yourself, they don't, but majority of the time they do. And they take 15-20% commission. And sometimes you think, oh, really? But then you kind of remember they're a business, they're a business too, and it makes business sense for them to do that. So what I do, I make sure I do a count out of what I've given them to sell, and I create a form that they sign and say, yep, we've taken X amount, and then we do a count back in. One thing I'm always doing, long before we get to the end of the night, is thinking about the end of the night, packing away, and getting out, because you will get charged if you take too long about it. You literally go over the time you said you were supposed to be out, the venue's charging you. So I'm thinking about the process, starting to pack. We're about an hour away. We haven't even started. We're an hour away from the show starting, and I'm thinking about the end of the night already. I always do it, no matter what kind of event it is, conference, wedding, a show, a show on stage like this with a band and everything. Techs are going to be doing their part on stage, but we're going to have all this backstage stuff to do.